The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted.
Seditious conspiracy.
But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th, like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they lived.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
They tried to silence them. Instead, they woke up an entire nation. The Sleeping Giant, coming soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the final segment of the show. If you have spent any time on social media or watched the news or been on justthenews.com or, literally any time at all since Christmas, then you have now undoubtedly seen these videos by independent journalist Nick Shirley out there exposing the fraud that we talked about at the top of the show there in Minnesota. And I am seeing reports that this is happening in cities all over the country. I am positive that it is happening in places like Los Angeles. There are folks who are sounding the alarm in places like Ohio and Boston. Listen, I am not an expert in geography. My husband laughs at me when I show my ignorance in geography, but I happen to know that Boston is not landlocked, and for a 20-mile radius around Boston, a quarter of which is water, 4,000 daycare clinics. So I have a feeling that the Department of Justice is going to have their hands full when it comes to investigating fraud in daycares, in food delivery services. So that's going to be interesting to watch through the rest of the year and heading into next year. But I've got a few video clips that I wanted to show you. Many of you are familiar with Rob Schneider, a comedian and actor, very, very funny. And he was talking about the sense of humor that folks on the left have. And I'll just let you take a look.
When Hillary Clinton lost the election, and I tweeted, I haven't seen the Democrats this angry since we freed the slaves. That was something that went pew everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then they didn't like that. I remember my old boss at Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels, would say that the Democrats are more sensitive, and they don't have quite the sense of humor to take to laugh at themselves as Republicans.
Well, I know one Democrat who needs to laugh at herself. Her name is Mara Gay. And for those of you who don't follow the news enough to know the names of these people, which I don't blame you one bit, but it's my work. Mara Gay is a staff writer over at the New York Times. And if you remember a few years ago, she became a bit of a laughing stock because she was on a segment, I believe it was on CNN, could have been MSNBC, same. Anyway, they were talking about $500 million spent on an election campaign. I think at the time they were talking about Bloomberg. And they deduced that with $500 million spent on a campaign, that with 328 million people in the country, that meant that instead of spending this money on his campaign, he could have given $1 million to every American and had money left over. Now, if you do the math, you know that that would be $1 for every American, not $1 million for every American. But, you know, some of us journalists, we're not known for our mathematician skills. Anyway, she was talking about all of this that has been revealed in Minnesota, and she feels bad for the scammers. Check this out.
Let's recall, too, that there's also other scandals in other states. For example, the Mississippi welfare scandal. And this is not unique to politics. Americans know that. But, of course, the other factor here is that because it looks like the Somali population in Minnesota, the Somali immigrant population may have been involved in some way, those people are being scapegoated, and that community is being scapegoated in a way that certainly serves the far right.
So sad. Food kitchens that took in $12 million of taxpayer money and didn't give out a single meal, they're being scapegoated. Well, Nick Shirley, the journalist who has exposed all of this, talked about why there aren't more of us talking about this. Here it is.
Are there local reporters like that in your area? And why do you think they weren't doing the work that you did?
I don't know. They're scared of being called nowadays because it's Somalians that are committing this fraud. People are scared of being called Islamophobic, racist, in which has nothing to do with what's going on, because fraud is fraud. It doesn't matter if it's a black person, white person, Asian person, Mexican. Fraud is fraud. And we work too hard simply just to be paying taxes and enabling fraud to be happening.
So, you know, if you have a transaction over $600 on Venmo, then the IRS is going to be keeping a very keen eye on you. But if you scam the American people out of millions, and what it seems like now, I think the last count I saw was $14 billion worth of fraud, no big deal, no big deal. It's just Somalis who are being scapegoated, right? Right. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. We will be back here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you then.